Since 2020, humans have endured a lot. Humans weathered wildfires, floods, droughts, volcanic eruptions, and, quite obviously, a pandemic. Everyone's hope was that 2022 would be better, and as life gradually returns to normal, Mother Nature still reminds us that she has the most power. Flooding, landslides, volcanic eruptions have already happened, and we are only halfway through the year. There are plenty of imminent disasters waiting on the horizon, and with the way 2022 has been going, these events may just happen sooner rather than later. From earthquakes to volcanoes and so much more, we take a look at 5 natural disasters that are simply waiting to happen.
Number 5.
A lot of attention gets paid to the San Andreas fault line. There have been blockbuster movies made about it painting a grim picture of the future. The fault runs nearly the entire length of California, and people wait on bated breath for when the big one will finally strike. There is, however, another fault line not too far away that people in the western United States should keep just as close of an eye on. The Cascadia subduction zone runs for about 700 miles along the coast of the Pacific Northwest. It starts around Cape Mendocino in California and continues through Oregon, finally ending around Vancouver Island in Canada. A subduction zone is when one tectonic plate slides underneath another one. This movement can cause friction between their plates, causing earthquakes. Tectonic plates are responsible for rearranging the planet's continents, and while their movements are generally slow and harmless, occasionally, the areas where these borders meet can be deadly. There is a very real possibility that the Cascadian subduction zone could give way all at once. If this actually occurred, then that region of the United States would experience an earthquake with a magnitude between 8.7 and 9.2, equaling the highest ever recorded earthquake. An earthquake on this scale within the subduction zone would displace a tremendous amount of seawater. This water will surge in all directions. Some will likely hit Japan, but the majority will decimate the American Northwest. The water will cover approximately 140,000 square miles of land, including major cities like Seattle, Portland, and Olympia. It would be the single worst natural disaster to have occurred in the history of the United States. Some computer models indicate that up to 13,000 people would lose their lives during this event, with thousands more suffering injuries. The event would likely displace millions of people also. It wouldn't be the first time such an event occurred. Research shows the fault created a magnitude 9.0 earthquake in the year 1700. Scientists think there is a 300 to 500 year window in which another major Cascadia event will occur, although it could be much sooner. It's only a matter of time before this reoccurs. Who knows if it'll happen 100 years from now or in a week from now.
Number 4.
Located on the southern flank of Kilauea is the Helina Slump. This area extends down toward the sea, and it's sliding a little further every year. It's currently moving at about 4 inches per year. However, if an event were to occur to cause the slump to slide entirely into the ocean, it could have catastrophic consequences. The Mammoth Slide could potentially generate a huge earthquake. If indeed a massive earthquake occurred in the vicinity, it could generate a mega tsunami with waves measuring 1,000 feet across the Hawaiian Islands. While Hawaii would be exposed to most of the damage, it's possible California would not escape this situation unscathed. If the waves were large enough, they could travel hundreds of miles per hour and hit the Golden Coast. As recently as 1975, slight movement from the Helina Slump created a small but still destructive tsunami that managed to reach California. If a big one hits, it will cause an untold amount of damage to the United States. Scientists are fairly certain such a major event will not occur for several more millennia, but under the right conditions, it could occur within our lifetimes.
Number 3.
When you think of seismically active places on Earth, Turkey is probably not the first country most people have in mind. This country is very seismically active, however, and extremely prone to earthquakes. Turkey has experienced some of the worst in history, such as the 7.6 magnitude earthquake in 1999. The area of the country that is most at risk in terms of potential damage is the city of Istanbul. With a population of over 15 million people and houses built mostly with no earthquake protection, a severe quake here could cause unimaginable amounts of destruction. In February of 2021, officials from the Istanbul Metropolitan Municipality presented various studies to the Turkish Earthquake Measures Research Commission. Their research revealed the potential scope of damage residents and the whole city could face. Their estimates state that 200,000 buildings would experience moderate to severe damage, leading to over 3 million people left homeless or displaced. They went on to explain the possible damages to water mains, sewer mains, and natural gas systems in the event of a magnitude 7.5 or higher quake. Since presenting this information, the authorities have not moved to protect the city and residents from such a disaster. The city has some 790,000 buildings that were built before the year 2000, when new building codes and regulations were put into place. These codes took earthquakes into mind and are much safer than those built before it. The people of Turkey can only wait and hope for the best outcome.
Number 2.
The western United States is not the only place in imminent danger. The eastern side of the country also faces the risk of a tsunami due to the Cumbre Vieja volcano. Scientists have found that the island of La Palma could collapse at some point in the future due to a volcanic eruption from the Cumbre Vieja volcano. This volcano sees major eruptions once every 200 years. It may be a while until this event actually happens, but with no way to really predict when volcanic eruptions will occur, who's to say when it could occur? When this volcano does erupt, the western flank of the volcano would slide downward into the Atlantic Ocean. As the flank slides down, it is likely there would be massive earthquakes around La Palma, giving it all the necessary ingredients for a massive mega tsunami to take place. The waves would move west at an extreme speed towards the Caribbean, the Bahamas, and eventually the eastern United States. With advanced computer modeling, some projections predict the waves from the tsunami could only be about 30 feet in height. Other worst-case projections show they could get as high as 300 feet. The good news is that if such an event were to occur, the eastern states would have some advance notice. The United States Tsunami Warning Center would start monitoring the size of the waves from a system of buoys in the Atlantic Ocean. This would give people in the eastern states about a couple of hours to head as far west as possible to avoid being caught in the deadly torrent of water.
Number 1.
The Lake Toba supervolcano has already had an impact on Earth once before, around 74,000 years ago. The volcano erupted in Indonesia, and a layer of ash about 6 inches thick was able to cover the entire Indian subcontinent. While there is some scientific debate over how much the eruption impacted human evolution, one thing was clear. This was a massive event, and under different conditions, it could have potentially wiped out humanity before we even got a chance to get started. We may not be in the clear just yet, however. Scientific research suggests the volcano's magma-generating engine remains active. What this means is the huge magma reservoir underneath the caldera continues to grow, and when it erupts again, it could be just as big, if not bigger, than the eruption many years ago. For the time being, scientists are confident another eruption won't happen for many thousands more years. This does not stop them from keeping a close eye on the Sumatra fault line, however. If this fault line, which runs through Mount Toba and bisects the island, were to become active yet again, it could reawaken the magma chamber early. It is likely there would be no forewarning if this event took place. The only solution would be to mass evacuate the surrounding area, trying to remove people from harm's way. While the planet we call home is undoubtedly beautiful, we have to learn to live with some of nature's most destructive events. While we can't control Mother Nature, modern science is helping us to better predict and prepare in case we are ever in one of these scenarios. With the pandemic now seeming to have taken a back seat and life beginning to become normal again, it is our hope that everyone that watches this video has a safe journey through the rest of 2022. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to check out one of our other videos on some of the world's most incredible moments. As always, thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.